As the political landscape of pop culture spaces continues to shift drastically at that, it looks like studios are going to have to find a way to reformat how they handle talking to the audience and how they treat the audience, as everybody is now up in arms expecting for the studio to come out in full force and disrespect us, insult us, and malign us. We're all ready and primed to see that and just find any reason not to engage in whatever media we're expected to watch. Most recently, Superman has been a massive target of that, as people are reading into every little thing that comes out, looking at it as some kind of attack on the audience. Most heavily impacted by that right now is the upcoming Superman movie written by James Gunn, as we've had a whole lot of different things coming out, from the way that they're treating the characters to the way that they're talking about the audience and Snyderverse and all that shit that nobody cares about, and with the rumors that say Lex Luthor has an army of monkeys meant to represent the audience and insult the chuds online who have insulted the movie, creating this super shit hashtag. Well, most recently, a quote was going out from the actress playing Loise Lane that seemed to suggest that this movie isn't for everyone and won't be for those who don't support justice and equality and all the liberal hoo-ha. But it looks like that quote was completely made up. There seems to be no evidence that the quote exists whatsoever, and it might very well look like it's just somebody trying to stir the pot or try to tank the movie. That really goes to show that the way that the studio is treating fans now, where they completely ignore us while better than insulting us, is no longer going to work, because it can be manipulated to the benefit of others. So before we go any further, like, subscribe, and let's get into this. So what's going on is that from that Park Place, Loise Lane actress Rachel Brosnahan never said Superman is not for everyone. Fan uproar ignited by viral fake quote. So recently, going around on social media was a fake quote attributed to Superman actress Rachel Brosnahan, who's going to play Loise Lane, has been making the rounds, and it's spreading fast enough to warrant some serious fact-checking. The viral claim suggests that Brosnahan, who plays Loise Lane in James Gunn's upcoming DCEU reboot, said Superman is not for everyone and would anger the same old people who don't support ideas of progress and empowerment. To be clear, the full statement was, it's not for everyone. Rachel Brosnahan says hashtag Superman isn't for everyone and will surely anger the same old people who don't support ideas of progress and empowerment. She warned that James Gunn warned them at the start of the project that they wouldn't have the support of half of the audience, but told them it's not the better half. She adds that it's not for men or women with 60s style ideas, and that's why Gunn fans like this idea. And of course, a lot of people just ate the quote up. We don't need a source, we don't need anything like that, because we've come to expect this. The standard marketing strategy for these major studios has been attack, attack, attack. We don't like you as the audience, we're going to get rid of you, and hope by getting rid of you, the toxic man babies, we can let the new modern woke audience come in and take your place. And that has been the non-stop strategy for years, starting back in 2015 and continuing on even to this day, as the studios are so out of touch that they must attack the fans because they don't want us as their fans. They want the modern audience to take our place. And as we've seen with many different releases, that just doesn't work. This modern audience doesn't exist, and we are the only audience, and they're kind of stuck with us, or they're willing to let their studio burn. Both are fine by me. And this just proves beyond a shadow of doubt that what needs to happen is a complete and utter radical reform of how studios are treating the audience. Because while in the past we've had it standardized that the studio would come out and attack the audience, malign the audience, insult us, say that we're not worthy, we're scum, and we need to focus on being progress center. Instead, over the last couple of months, last year or so, they've changed that strategy, and now they ignore us entirely for the most part. Very rarely will they talk about the fans, and when they do, it's like very ambiguous and very ambivalent. They don't seem to care about the fans. They don't seem to want the fans, even though we're the most important thing to them. And given the fact that they've been utterly silent on fan approval or fan desire, it leaves people open to making these fake statements because there's nothing in the zeitgeist to prove otherwise. So what these studios really need to start doing is go on an aggressive pro-fan campaign. They need to make it clear that the fans are what matters, and this is made to appeal to the fans. They need to make it beyond a shadow of a doubt abundantly clear that the fans are their focus and their desire. And as I said, the problem with the quote is that we took it without needing a source. Nobody needed a source because we just came to expect it. And that's exactly the issue. No interview, no press event, and no official source confirms it. It's not on Vanity Fair, Entertainment Weekly, Good Housekeeping, or anywhere else Brosnahan has done press. Nor does it appear on any social media accounts attributed to her. It's a fabrication, one seemingly designed to spark outrage and division among fans and poison conservative sentiment against the upcoming film. And like I said, we have been raised and we have been conditioned to expect this kind of fan sentiment, this kind of attack and malignment against the people who want to like Superman. After they sacrifice truth, justice, and the American way for truth, justice, and hope, which they're continuing in James Gunn's universe and changing his backstory enough, it feels like this is the kind of thing that would fit into this narrative. These kind of statements, how he's no longer a farm boy but trailer park trash, I could easily see them trying to repaint Superman as this hero of progress and not this hero of conservatism. And apparently, this quote doesn't just make stuff up, but it directly contradicts what Brosnahan actually said in a verified interview with Good Housekeeping. In a feature published April 12th, 2025, Brosnahan described the tone of the movie as far more optimistic terms. There's something in it for everyone, she said before calling it the hopeful Superman. She even stressed that it's hopeful without being overly earnest or saccharine. Where she said, "I'm excited to be putting something hopeful out in the world in the middle of these pretty tricky and tumultuous times," she added. Hopefully, but it's also entertaining. It has all the things you expect and want from a big superhero movie, and then also a lot of heart too. That doesn't sound like someone trying to alienate audiences, it sounds like exactly what Superman should be. And that's pretty much exactly the thing. Here's the thing, that quote is phenomenal, it's excellent, it's exactly what we want to hear about Superman, that's exactly what we need to hear. But she also barely mentioned the fans. The fans are kind of an afterthought in this quote. And while that's all good and dandy, I'd like to know that she wants people to go see it, that she appreciates the fans and loves the people who are going to go see it. And that's exactly the kind of statement, the kind of sentiment that would have had to been put out there to put in a built-in bulwark against these fake statements. If she had come out here and expressed gratitude and platitudes for the fan base and for the audience, then that would have acted as a way for people to immediately, in their mind, fact check these negative statements. But they don't want to do that because the fans and the studio heads are at an opposition. They can't praise the fans because then they're going to malign the Tumblrites who are insistent on attacking them. The people, the tourists who come into spaces, destroy them and then leave when there's nothing left to recover. And that's really the center, the core, the whole crux of this entire thing. We're looking at 3 different kinds of marketing strategies, all of which have been tried. Back in the early days of the MCU, we went in with gratitude. They love the fans, they love the audience, they love the people who made their dream and their story possible. And then we entered the 2015 postmodernist era, where it all became about maligning, attacking, and expressing distaste for the audience, for trying to find the new modern woke audience, and unabashedly throwing away the impassioned and the original audience so you can maybe get a better one. An audience, of course, that doesn't exist, and now we're in a third stage, an apathetic stage, a point in time where they still hate the audience, but they know they can't verbalize it out of fear of losing all of their support, which is exactly what would happen if they did verbalize that hatred. And so they're just trying to ignore us, maybe sometimes saying a little bit of a nicety while still being as vague as possible, but no, you have to come out and you have to directly state your support or else it's kind of meaningless. And more importantly, by not stating their support, they're opening themselves up to these kind of bullshit claims because the audience isn't going to put in the effort to look for the facts when it just kind of lines up. And while the comic industry seems to be completely allergic to learning the right lesson, maybe they finally will. What the fans want is to be appreciated and be given what we desire in just giving us the stories that we grew up on. That's all you have to do. But they won't do that because it requires maligning the people, the tourists who don't actually watch these movies but make a lot of stink online. But that's pretty much what I've got. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this, and I will see you guys on the next one.